Hello, everybody, and welcome to another City Skylines 1 build. This time I will be building the Schloss Hartenfels in German, or Hartenfels Castle in English. And first of all, I start by removing all the trees like I normally do to make the area really accessible and you can see what you do. First of all, I'm going to determine the area where I'm going to build. It will be on this hilltop. It's not the highest one, because the highest one is already taken by quite a large building. I started with building an access road, make it nice and curvy. It's quite steep, but it's okay. This just winds down the hill, and it will need a little bit of adjusting. We continue this way, all the way down to this road. It's quite of a main road. It's the main access road to this side of the island. And here we have a connection up the mountain, or maybe it's more a hilltop. A little bit of adjusting, so it makes a nice even climb. And this is the area where we will be building the castle. And first, let's smooth this out a little. These assets, you can find them on the workshop. I will add a link in the description. And I start with building this bridge. It comes with the assets. I'm figuring out how to build this castle. I hadn't looked at the example before, so it's kind of a puzzle. But the clues you have is that everything needs a road connection. So probably there will be a need for some roads around the central square. And I remember that I have these invisible roads. They come with the water slide, the water park, and you can use them as roads, but you can't see them. So people in the city will be able to use these roads. And here I'm seeing that this is a one-way road. So I want is the function, so I end up changing it to a different road. So now it's kind of a roundabout. And I start plopping down these assets. And I'm trying to rearrange them. You can see some of them fit just like this. And after a lot of puzzling, we end up with a nice castle, just like it is in real life. I I looked it up eventually to get some clues on how this works. I got rid of one building. It's supposed to be yeah, a separate wing, but I wanted it to be. I think it looks great already as it is without that wing. It's not really so as it is in real life, but it'll just have to do for now. I think it looks nicest with this pavement. It's also the smallest road I have. And you see people already coming up and visiting the castle. It's a working asset. I believe it's a special building, so it attracts tourists and citizens. Here I'm trying to figure out how to make it look good. Yeah, why not have a little roundabout here? Like so you can drive your car up to here, and the rest you will have to walk. And let's continue this curvy road up to the castle. Yeah, I figured out we need some parking here, so I'm using the vanilla parkings. Yeah, and they're terrain conforming, so it needs a little flat area. I think it looks kind of strange when a parking lot really goes, yeah, down a slope or something. So yeah, I think this is enough. We want to encourage people to come by car. Maybe they can walk. They already do, like you will see a little bit later. Yeah, I'm not using the right keyboard control, so everything flashes around. And sometimes I take a little distance and I look at the project and how it will blend in with the rest of the landscape. And then I go back to zooming in a little bit more and making this a nice even parking space. Now it's time to add some rocks to make it look like it's really on top of a rocky hillside or a rocky hill or maybe the top of a mountain. In real life, the castle is located near a river. It's really an existing castle, and I think this is very pretty. These rocks are from the workshop. They are also terrain conforming, so that's sometimes a little bit difficult, but I managed to keep the windows that are there a little free. I think mostly the vanilla rocks are way too big, generally speaking, because look, these are like 36 meter or 16 meters, and it's already big rocks. There are some smaller ones, vanilla, and I use them a little bit later. But to get some more detail, I think it's nice to work with some smaller rocks. See, this one's too big already, maybe too big. Just a little bit more variation in rocks. These are also from the workshop, they're also quite coarse, so they look a little rough. And I'm figuring out what to do with the rest of this area. I tried making, or had the idea making some sort of a terrace on here longer. Usually when I do that, I just switch to doing different things, like adding some more books. Also using the smaller ones. This is starting to look like a nice place to visit, I guess. Adding added some more rocks and try to make the to hide the parking lot a little. Every roundabout needs some kind of centerpiece, so a nice fountain. Here I'm using some of the vanilla rocks. The nice thing about these is that they come in size variation and it does that automatically, so you can make a ball like this with really nice details. There's also a little bit of an incline here. It's a little bit of a slow process. You can do this with the line tool, I guess, but I thought not to use that and do it by hand. I use these vanilla rocks also quite often since they don't come with any greenery around them and they're not so tall. Adding more rocks. Here I'm trying to ban the traffic. Here I'm using traffic manager to ban cars, or at least I'm trying. I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, this is the right way to do it. I think maybe these buildings need supplies or something, so I figured trucks would be okay. Although it looks kind of silly, you will see that later. You see people already coming to this castle. I think that's so nice to see. Now it's time to add some greenery. I think pines would look great, maybe because I don't know. In real life, there are I don't know. I cannot really good see it very well, but I think there are oak trees. It's in Germany, so well, my version is on the mountaintop, so I figured some pines would be nice. I really have a ton of trees in my library. Like you can see, it's sometimes difficult to choose. But maybe a nice tip is not to use too many different big trees. Make it look, I don't know, more natural. I hear still people driving, so let's do that again. And now the right way. And now filling in these areas with some smaller clusters of plants and trees. Some are a bit tropical, but I think that fits the Bora Bora theme. And these white flowers make it really stand out. It's so nice to see all these people visiting and walking up that little driveway. You're using the surface painter to make it look a little nicer. And some more trees and flowers in different colors. Yeah, this tends to be a little bit of a steep area, so I fill it up with another rock without disturbing the windows. It's starting to look like it belongs here. Some bigger bushes. And just filling in the gaps. And next up is this courtyard. It's a little empty, so we're gonna fix that up. First, I'm adding these trees around, so the area looks a little bit more complete. And of course, some coconuts along the beach. I tried making some sort of an entrance here, but I will be thinking about that later. like I don't know, a castle tower or something. I don't know, something that fits the castle up on top of the hill. This area is also smoothened out. Yeah, you see people just walking up all the way up. I don't know why they do that, but it's okay to do that. Just filling in the voids. With collision off, you can place trees everywhere. So yeah, these ones are a little bit of on the road. And with this map team, the ground colors so nicely green when you add trees. So I think because it's a natural resource or something. And you start thinking about how to fill in this square. The angles are really, yeah, well, not really straight angled or 90-degree angled. And most of these assets are. So that is a little bit difficult to do. I wanted to stick with the theme, so I figured there would be a lot of details on this square. And I remember I have this curve network. You can make it any shape you like. So that would be convenient with these strange angles. I end up changing that a little bit because it's sort of closed off now. I'm gonna just go through the whole process of selecting the things I have, of looking at the things I have and how to use them. I think this already adds some detail. Yeah, I'm missing one little corner here, but I figure that is not really a problem. But I end up not changing it because this makes this little area for something you will see later. But these curves tend to not not level, so you have to do that a little bit manually. And here you can see the angles are really, really off. But the edges of this square already have a nice tiling, so I think it should be like this. And here I'm moving them into position. People just keep walking around. It's amazing. Wanted to see what I can use to fill in this area. And I thought maybe some food stalls, little market maybe, like where you can buy maybe antiques or just a little food while you enjoy the castle. The game comes with several options for creating a market. If you have the right DLC, you can have the eco commercial, and it comes with these working market stalls. Yeah, this one's a little bit too big, but there also are smaller ones, and it's hard to get hold of them, like you see here, because the square is a building and these things are a building, so it's a little hard to select them. You see, this one's too big, so this has to go. Why not copy this and yeah, make it a little market street where people can watch at the things, maybe buy things from a local source. Yeah, what to do with these other parts? I think the curbs close it off a little, so I open it up a little bit later, like this. Maybe here is a terrace with a nice seating area where you can consume whatever you just bought maybe on the market. And I have all kinds of tables. These ones are a little small for my taste, so I end up really scrolling down to get the vanilla table, and I quite randomly place them. Maybe there's a restaurant here, or I don't know. Of course, you need some umbrellas. And I have these German ones. I think they say Carlsberg. It's it's a beer, and I think it suits this castle. All these cypresses, they also make it look well, maybe a little bit Italian, but I think they really give atmosphere to this space. I try to distribute them even. Of course, a nice fountain is also nice at the square like this. I try to go with the modern one, but the classic one is, I think, a little bit nicer. Here I'm placing these benches so you can sit down and watch the fountain. It's not really in the middle, and yes, it looks like, well, not so good. So I tend to remove it all and do it again with the line tool because it's much easier and they're all on the same distance. I have to turn them around 180 degrees so they face the fountain, and then put the fountain in the middle. It's not completely in the middle, but I will settle for this. Now this triangular area is a little difficult, so I want to fill up this area first. These markets tend to be these stalls are very close together usually, so you really have to find your way around them. And here I start adding. I end up using these tiles. They come from the Park Life DLC, and I think they fit this area just nicely. It's a little difficult because they sort of wrap themselves around these curbs. So it really takes some time to position them. I try not to take too much time to do this. Just make it so there is something beneath all these things, and yeah, it looks a little more complete. And there's a police car driving around. These buildings, they really need access to for service vehicles. And as you can see a little bit later, also to supply these, yeah, well, these commercial, I would say, shops. So they're really functional in the game. That's why all these people are, yeah, well, visiting this square. I tried to add a little cafe or something, but it's all too big, and I have an autosave. Sometimes forget that it's off, and I praise myself lucky that the game doesn't crash not that often anymore. Just making sure the buildings are on the right position. And here there's a little corner for some Christmas decorations. I've had them forever, and it's a little Christmas tree with lights and yeah, well, that's a big one. Some snowman. And there's a delivery for the market, and more people's visiting. And a little bench so you can watch all the lights and the tree. Little area here. So it's a little Christmas market surrounded by this castle. I don't know if the real thing also has market space on it. I've watched it on Google Earth, and it looks like there are even cars parking on the central square. So maybe my version is a little nicer, so it's for pedestrians only. Some more tiles here, and I think this looks yeah, this looks kind of complete with the trees and the rocks, and of course all these people visiting. That's so nice to see. It makes it it makes it really interesting. So we're about to get to the end of this video. So have a good look around. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you know when I post new content. And I hope to see you next time for the next video. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.